Well, hello everyone. Uh, as you can see, my setup looks a little different today, so bear with me. I had to move stuff around. They're using the building again this week, but I didn't want to miss out on another episode. So rather than canceling, I've just kind of moved stuff around, and so the setup may not look as great. It may didn't look great before, but it's kind of a odd place. I'm kind of shoved off in a corner, but it doesn't much matter because I have my computer. You guys are here, and I think we can still get some stuff done. And so, hello, JJ. Nice to see you. Um, so, yeah, nice to see everyone. By the way, sorry I missed last week. Um, about you know maybe a couple times a year they use this building for voting. The Our town, it's just one of the voting places in our town. So anytime there's any kind of local elections or even national elections, this building will be used. Unfortunately, that almost always happens on a Tuesday. So it's just a little bit of a conflict of time that we will have. But if you're new here, welcome. I don't think I see any new faces yet, but perhaps you'll stumble upon this video in the future. And what I'd say is you're welcome to start at any point. And I just want to show you guys real quick to go ahead and jump over to Bitbucket. And if you search my name, Parham Curtis, right here, Bitbucket, you can see all of my public repositories. And this one is the live e-commerce YouTube course. So the basic idea is you'll want to go in here, and whatever episode this is, which is episode 10, you'll go ahead and go to source, and you look for a branch, and go ahead and grab the last episode before this one if you want to follow along with the video. Episode 9 is where we left off in the last video, and when I'm done with this tonight, I will go ahead and post the branch episode 10. So don't use master. Go ahead and check out the appropriate branch. The reason it starts at episode 3 is because we started over at episode 3. Episode 1 and 2, we got some work done on the framework and stuff like that, but just follow along with the last episode. Okay, so enough housekeeping. Let's see. Yeah, what I know you guys, I don't want to get into too much time management, but I always forget to go to my screen on the Bitbucket thing. So let me just recap that just for a second. Sorry guys, bear with me. So again, just real quick, it was Bitbucket/Parham Curtis, and then you'll go to the live e-commerce YouTube course. Click on source here, and then right here where it says master, this is the branch list, and you can actually find the branch for the last episode. That is where you'll want to start if you're going to follow along with this video. So this is episode 10. You'll want to grab episode 9, and that's where we're starting from tonight. After tonight, I will upload episode 10 here, and you can have that to check your work against. All right. So sorry about that. Not to get into too much time management, but I know a lot of you guys, it's really early in the morning for you. Anywhere from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning for some of you. What I would say to that is if it were me, this is just a little bit of advice, is I would do my best to go to bed early the night before and get up early. I wouldn't stay up late to watch these. Your brain is just going to be fried. So if at all possible, try to go to bed super early, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and then wake up in time to do this, and then start your day from there. I would not try to stay up all night and do this and then go to work or school or anything like that. It's just not worth it. So, especially because you can catch these episodes later if you miss them. I do love having you guys on the live stream though. So I'd be sad to see you go, but I understand that everyone has things going on. So it doesn't hurt my feelings that there are only 3 or 4 people on at any given time for these live streams. Look, I know it's just part of it, and these aren't going to be super popular videos anyway because of the nature of how we're doing this. But my hope is that it's helpful. I want this to be helpful for you guys, and I don't really care if it's popular. I don't care if these videos get millions of views or anything like that. They're not making me any money. This is just my way of giving back. So I hope this helps, but don't stress out too much about it. All right, so the last video, where we left off, is we kind of started our product page here on the home page, which basically just displays all of our featured products. And so what we'll want to do is finish a link here, and this will be super simple, but we're going to want to add a link to take us to the details page. So I was hoping tonight that within an hour or so we can get done with the details page completely. And I know I'm always overly optimistic about how much we're going to get done in a single video, but I'm hoping to get the details page done, and then let's go ahead and shoot for trying to get the shopping cart piece done, to where you can save items to a shopping cart. And then I'm a fan of if you know, if they allow it, we'll add a cookie, and we'll store a cookie on the user's computer so that if they come back to our site at a later date, if they didn't check out, their shopping cart will still be there. And so we might want to do something where that expires, and we will, but at least for a couple days or something, we'll want that shopping cart to be loaded with all the products that they previously put in there. And so tonight, my hope is that we get the shopping cart completely done, so that in the next episode, we can dive headlong into doing the actual payment gateways and building out the, you know, we'll go ahead and probably start with Stripe, and then do PayPal, and we'll do a couple others, and make it to where we can choose which payment gateway you want to use in your application based upon a config setting. And so that's kind of the plan. And JJ says he had a little nap, and it's 2 a.m. there. All right, good job taking a nap. All right, I did not have a nap, and unfortunately I'm really tired, and my sinuses are a little weird because spring's starting, so if I sound a little congested, excuse my voice. But and I also don't feel well. I got, you know, I'm not having any health issues. My lunch and dinner is not sitting well in my stomach. So we'll see how that goes. If I throw up all over my keyboard, it was just really bad code or a bad meal. We'll probably have to call it early if that happens. So I'm a little sour in my stomach, but that's neither here nor there. So enough of me rambling on. Let's jump into some code and have some fun. As always, you guys, please feel free to ask as many questions as you would like. Stop me at any time if you have suggestions. If you see me make any stupid mistakes, that stuff doesn't offend me. We're doing this live. I haven't prepared ahead of time. I'm going to make mistakes. It's not a big deal. That's part of developing, and that's why we do these live streams, to show you guys what that is all about. All right, so if you look at the screen here, we got this like go somewhere button here that's not doing anything. So let's go ahead and take care of that super quick. So if we jump over to our code and we open up the home index .php here in the view, you can see right here is just a link, and we've already figured out what our link is going to be, because they can click on the card title right here. And so I can actually just go ahead and copy this and paste that right here in the href of that. And then oops, let's see, sorry about that. I'm so used to my Mac at this point that I often press the wrong keys when trying to copy and paste on my keyboard, because this is not a Mac machine I'm on, it's Linux. By the way, just I'm back on XAMPP tonight, just because some people made a comment last week about me using Vagrant, and I don't know if it was confusing people or what, but so I'm back on XAMPP, not a big deal. Okay, so maybe we'll just put C details here, something like that. So let's go ahead and refresh now, and if I go and click here, it takes us to the details and then the product ID here. Alright, so it says we don't have permission to access this page, and it's obviously because we haven't built this page out yet, and we haven't added it to our ACLs yet. And so let's go ahead and do that right now. So we need a details controller. So let's go ahead and take a look here, and I'm going to go ahead and click, you know what, let's just duplicate our home controller, and we'll name this details. All right, and then we'll rename the class. Let's see, we will need products, so that's good. So now we just go ahead and hang on a second, I may have screwed that up. So I'm sorry, we did not need a details. We did not need a details controller. We needed a details action. I looked at my URL improperly. Excuse me on that. So we already, or do we not have a products? Okay, we don't have a products controller. So let's go ahead and build that out. So I'm going to duplicate that, and I could have just renamed the other one, but I got confused. I thought I might have already had it. All right, so here, this is just going to be products. All right, and now that we have that, what we're going to want to do is have a details action. So we're going to rename this index action to details, and then this is going to take a parameter, and this is a parameter in the URL, so that is the ID. So that will be our product ID there. So I'm going to go ahead and just call that product ID. The next thing that I want to do is make sure that well, we're going to need access to this product controller. This isn't going to have to be a logged in, no one's going to have to be logged in to view this. This is just front facing. So guests and everyone else will need access to this page. So let's go ahead and jump into our ACL real quick. And in order to do that, we have this guest section here. And so I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this home right here and go ahead and give them access to products. Now, later we may find that we might build some actions inside of products that we don't want to give guest access to. And if that comes up, we will go ahead and change permissions at that point. But as it stands right now, things like that, you know, we don't really need to do. William says there are things like colors, sizes, and quantities that may be a little complex, especially if someone wants to build a fashion show site. Yeah, absolutely. So I did a course when I first started. I was actually a very new developer, and I wasn't very good. I would consider myself a very junior developer, and I put my first course on YouTube was a clothing e-commerce site like we're building here, and code wasn't pretty, but we did deal with you know, we dealt with different varieties and sizes and things like that. So we may or may not get into some of that, guys. My point is, and this let me just say something real quick, because this comes up quite a bit in comments, and I just want to clarify, because I get a lot of people asking me, they say things like, hey, when we're done building this, can you do this all over again, but instead of building a board game e-commerce site, could you please build a XYZ site? And the point of it is like, this really could be used for any type of site. It may not have all the features and functionality that you need for the different products, and hopefully you will gain enough knowledge on how all this works that you'll feel comfortable going in and just trying to add stuff, because I can't give you everything that you're going to need to do. We just simply don't have enough time to do this and move on. So we're going to make a fairly simplistic shopping cart and store, and we'll add complexity as we need, and if I think it's important for you guys to see. But if it's something that that I really think you guys could do on your own, by copying what we've already done and just changing it a little bit and adding some different, you know, columns to the database and things like that to store other information, I really think that if you guys want to be developers, you're going to have to at least make a good stab at trying to do that. And when you start trying to modify the code, I think you'll even become more aware of how it works. And I believe that that's the best way forward, is to not be shown how to do every little thing, but show you the basic concepts of how everything works, and then adapt it to fit your own needs. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to say we're definitely not going to do it, but I do want to make sure that you guys have clear expectations that, like, hey, I'm doing board games. That's just because something I thought of in the beginning. I was thinking of a board game I'd played the night before, right? It doesn't matter if it's a board game store or a clothing store or a food store or anything like that. The principles are all the same, right? You have to have it stored in your database somehow, and you have to be able to purchase it. And so that sort of thing, once we get through the complex stuff of doing the API calls to actually process credit cards and things like that, you should be able to just add other details as we go to your own and modify it as you need. So you know, if I'm missing something, you know, we're not going to get everything in this, I guess is what I'm saying. For one, it would just be so much minutia that most people will get bored, and they'd miss out on the meat of what they need to know. And so that's kind of the point of that. So let's dive back in. I just wanted to kind of share that because I did get quite a few comments and people just sending me messages and asking if we can, you know, modify what we're doing to change it to you know, video games or something. Like, look, just upload some video game products in your own thing. Like, it doesn't have to be board games just because that's what I'm doing as an example. It's simply an example. So now that we have our products right here in our ACL, let me make sure I did share my screen. Okay, good. So we have products here, and we've given them access initially to all. This little star, just as a reminder, means that they will have access to every action on the product's controller. And so for right now, that's fine. That's what we want. But we may need to modify that later. So now we have this details action, and if we go back now and refresh, let's see, details. Oh, so right now we still don't have our own view yet, so we need to go ahead and add a new view. So we'll go ahead and jump into the views, and we're going to need a new directory that we'll just call products. And these match, basically they match the controller name. So if it's products, it's a products directory. Inside of here, we're going to create a new file, and this file will be details. Okay, this matches the action name. So details.php, and then we need to change this right here. Instead of rendering home index, we're actually going to render products details. Okay. Then what we want to do is we need to start. So we'll say this start body. We'll skip down a few lines and we'll say this end. All right. And then all of our HTML for our body will go there. Claver says, hello, and you're doing awesome. Yeah, thank you, and hello, welcome. So what we want to do here is start pulling in our information, and so I've pulled up kind of Amazon, their product page here. So what they've done is the left side is a big image slideshow, and the right side has all their information. So we're going to kind of mimic this a little bit, not exact or anything like that, but we're going to go ahead and throw our products in a slideshow over here on the left, and then our product images rather, and then all of our product information over here. So this is a 2-column layout, so let's go ahead and throw that into our plate file real quick. So basically we have div, and this is going to be column medium 6. All right, and then basically we'll have 2 of those. So I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate that, and then inside of the first one, this was actually going to be our slideshow. So for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and put a comment here for slideshow, just so we keep our plate file kind of straight and what's going on here. And then here we're gonna start having our details, but it's kind of silly for us to kind of build this out without our details. So let's go ahead and get our details that we need from our database, which is going to be super easy. What we need to do, instead of right here we have this leftover code from our home, instead of just creating a new products image, we need to grab that by ID. So what we could do here is our models already have a function called find by ID, and so that's what we're going to go ahead and use. So this is going to be, let's just call this product, and product is going to equal products find by ID. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we'll cast this to an integer, but we're going to pass down the product ID variable that came in from the URL. Okay, so once we've done that, we don't need this here, but we need to go ahead and pass that product down to our view, and we do that by saying this view product equals product. Okay, the reason that I'm not just doing all this in one line is because we're going to use a separate function to get all the product images associated with this product, so we'll need the images as well. But let's go ahead now that we have that, and let's just let's take a look at that. So we'll say h dump and die product, and I just want to make sure we're getting back the correct product information. All right, so jump back over here, refresh. So now you can see our var dump here, and I expected this to be Catan, which it looks like it is by the name, and then we have all of our information here. So you know, this would work the same. You know, if you put in a different ID in the URL, you should get based upon what's in your database. So that one was deleted, so that's cool. And then we have 4. Okay, what we probably want to do is handle the situation where something happens where like they go and there's no product. We don't want to just kind of display this. What we want to do is kind of redirect them and tell them that there was an issue with that product. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So right here, we'll want to say if not product, then we're going to want to use router redirect. All right, and we'll probably just redirect them back home. Okay, and then what we're going to do though is we'll give them a session message. Okay, so let's see, let's look in core. So we have our router class here, so we just need to go ahead and use that up here. So we'll say use core router, and then the other one that we'll need for that is the session, because we've set up these add message. So we can do a session and add message, so it takes the type and the message. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll say session add message. Oops. And we'll go ahead and give this a type of danger, and we'll just say oops, that product doesn't exist. Or we'll say that product isn't available. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this dump and die real quick here, and we can test that out because we know that product 3 didn't work. And I forgot to go ahead and add that up here. So we'll just use core session. Okay, so now what happened is it went ahead and redirected us back to the home page, and then we got that message, oops, that product isn't available. And then they could close out of that and try again. So if they go and click on you know, see details or whatever, then they will get that information. And so it didn't redirect us because we that product does exist, so that's good. I think it'd be really cool to go ahead and give the site title the name of the product, and then we'll start doing the details. So that's super easy to do. So now, because we've added this view product, inside the view we have access to product. Okay, so in here we can actually just right here above, and we don't have to do it here, we could actually do it in the controller as well, so I can show you guys that. You don't have to do it from inside the view. I think it makes it a little easier to find when it's in the view for some reason. But you could do this view set site title, I believe. And then what we'll do is pass in product. I think it was name. Yeah. So I'll save that out, refresh, and now you can see that the site title up here has been set to the name of the product. So it works from the controller. However, I just kind of don't like putting it in the controller. I can see an argument that you should put it in the controller, but to me, it's kind of part of the view. So it's set up to where you can do it either way. So instead of saying this view, all we need to do here is just say this, because we're already in the view at this point. So here, this is the view. We just say this set site title. And the other thing that we'll need to change is instead of product name, at this point, now product exists as a property on the view object, and it does that because in the controller we said this view product equals product, and so now that we're in the view, we just use this product. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. We'll refresh and we still see that we have the same exact results. Product 2 is Agricola. Okay, so let's go ahead and start grabbing the information that we need to display. So I think what we'll do is here in our second column, I'm going to give this an H2. Maybe we'll do H3 or something like that. And then we'll just go ahead and echo this product name. Okay, and we can kind of take a look at Amazon, for reference. So they got kind of it in bold, big letters at the top. I don't know if they used an H2 or an H3, but it doesn't really matter because they probably styled it. So we just used an H3. I think that looks pretty good. So then what we want to do, and let me just make sure that our columns is working correctly here. No, it's not. And that's because I suck at the new Bootstrap stuff so far. So let's see. I'll open this up real quick. I know they kind of changed how they did all this. I'm still so used to Bootstrap 3. And honestly, I don't even use that much, but I learned on that. So so we have this grid. Okay, I see what they did. They have container, fluid, row. All right. So here what we'll do is we already have a container for div for the container. So we'll just say div and we'll give it a class equal to row. Okay, then we're going to move all of this into that. Okay. And then we need to give these, we'll just give them, might have to give them a class of call as well. Maybe not. I do like that underneath the hood they're using Flexbox to do this, which I think is really cool. So let me get a drink of water. My mouth is really, really dry. Okay, so on Amazon they had the name, and then underneath that they had the brand. So we can go ahead and do that as well. But remember that our brand is stored in a separate table. But since we're doing a details page, we're only getting one product. We don't really need to do any crazy joins at this point because the reason we don't is because it's only going to make a few database calls. Now, on the home page, there could be like 1,000 products or something like that on there. And so then we'll want to use a join and not do separate database calls for every single object, because if you do that, it's going to be a very slow and inefficient process. Okay, so each database call will slow down the system. But if you're only making a couple database calls, it's not going to be noticeable at all. So what we're going to do is create a method on our product model to grab the brand name. Okay. And that's going to be super straightforward, but we'll do it real quick together. So go to models and look at products. Okay, and here inside the products, we want to add a new, we want to go ahead and add a new method, and this will not be static. This is just going to be assume that there is an actual object instantiated. So we're going to say public function, and we'll say get brand name or something, or just yes, we will do get brand name, because if we say get brand, I would assume that's going to return the whole object. I don't really think we need to do that in this case. Brand name is going to be just fine. So then what we do is we need to add here, we're going to say use app models and then brands. Okay, so now down here we can excuse me, we can pass in, we can actually grab our brand name. So we'll say brand is equal to brands find first, and then we're going to pass some conditions in here. So let me go ahead and, so that takes an array. So the conditions are going to be, so let's look, I need to actually look at our brands table. So we called it brand ID. So we're just going to say brand ID is equal to, and then we'll have a question mark there because we'll want to bind this. It's not coming from the front end really, so it's not all that important that we bind it, but I just like to get in the habit of making sure we bind everything. So we'll go ahead and bind that. And so this just takes an array, and this is an indexed array, not an associative array, and you just give it what you want to bind. So here we'll say this brand ID, okay, because we're in the context of a product. So if you look at the products table, it's going to have a brand ID, right? Okay, so that's what we'll do. But what we want to do is say if empty this brand ID, then what we'll want to do is just return an empty string, okay? So if they don't have a brand chosen, it's just going to pass back an empty string. Then we're going to move on to here, and we're going to say if not, well, I'll tell you what, we'll just do a ternary here. So we'll do return, and we're going to say if there is a brand that it comes back with, then we want to return brand. And what did we call that in a database? That one was name. Else, we want to return just an empty string. Okay. All right. So that's it for this method. So now we can use this method inside of our view. So what they did is they had like a paragraph here, and they just said buy, and then this product. Now we can use that get brand name method. Okay, so let's see what we got there. Brand ID not found. That's because I'm stupid. And so we'll go back to our products here, and this is actually needs to just be ID. Okay, I'll take care of that. All right, so now that we have this, it says by Mayfair Games. So we're well on our way here. So let's take a look at Amazon again. That's pretty cool. They used a link, and we can do that later, but a link to basically, it would take you to a page and filter by that brand. It would show you all the products by the same brand. So I think that's actually really cool. So we'll probably end up doing that because one, that's really easy, and once we start doing the filtering anyway, I think that's going to be something we're going to want to do. But for now, we're just going to leave this. I'm going to go ahead and copy theirs. They had that underscore. Okay. Next up, they went ahead and did this horizontal rule thing, and then they had the price and shipping, and then they have their body here. Remember, we had that WYSIWYG, and we're going to want to go ahead and put that HTML into this area here. The only other thing we'll want after that is an add to a cart button. So let's go ahead and let's add a horizontal rule there, and let's I'm going to go ahead and put this in a div. And then here, what we're going to want to do is we'll probably end up giving this some styles, but for now we'll just leave it like this. And this is going to take in the body, but these have been int quotes. So we've run this through HTML entities, and now these tags have been obfuscated just for protection of the database. So we need to go ahead and reverse that, and I'm gonna have to look that up. Int quotes, or wait a minute, reverse HTML entities. There's a function. Oh, it's HTML entity decode. Okay. So we can just put that in here. We're going to echo out HTML entity decode, and then we're going to go ahead and put in product body. Okay. So now if we go back and refresh, dang it, we can't just say product because we're in the view. At this point, it is this product. Okay, so that's working. I have kind of not a very cool body there. William said hopefully we can do stars too. Yeah, we can definitely probably do that. Some sort of user review type system. I do want to hold the kind of sexy features like that off towards the end, and do like the stuff that really every single store is going to use, like the payment gateways first, and then come back and add stuff like that. But I think that's a really good idea. We'll probably do that, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-star review type thing. We could do that. That actually isn't that difficult to do. The most difficult part of that is like kind of finding the averages and stuff like that in the database when there's a bunch of different reviews, but it's not difficult. The bigger issue is to try to like I don't know if you've ever noticed, like Amazon has like a system where it's like a verified purchaser. So other people who go and leave reviews that haven't purchased that, they can't really leave a review. Otherwise, they don't really mean much if it's just, you're just paying people to leave you reviews on, you know, Fiverr or whatever. But at any rate, so let's go ahead and check Catan real quick. I might have had more of a body in that. No, I did really quick stuff. So let's go ahead now, and I'm actually gonna copy this, and let's go to our admin area, and I'm gonna edit. I just want to make sure this works well. Okay. So kind of just copying that, and then go back to the site. Let's see details. There we go. So now we kind of got that same copy from Amazon there. So that's working because of our WYSIWYG. Let's see. Amazon also had, you know, some more information here or whatever, but we need to also do, I forgot about the price and the shipping information. So we'll do that above this body. Let's go ahead and add another div right here. And here I'll say price. You know what, we can do a span here just in case we want to go ahead and give that a bold or something. So we'll say price, and then here I want to say, you know, we kind of need a function called toMoney or something like that to display money values correctly. I just don't know where I want to put that because that's not really part of the. Oh, you know what else? Before we get too far along, well, first here, I don't want to. I'm getting kind of flustered. Let me go ahead and finish this price really quick, and then we need to merge in the framework, which you guys don't need to do this if you're copying from me or whatever. But I made some changes to the framework and fixed a few bugs, so I want to go ahead and do that. So here, I'm just going to echo out this product price. Oops. All right. Okay, so we have the price there. And then we'll do shipping. And did we take a look at the index here? Yeah, so actually I kind of want to make a function, or a method rather, on the products thing to kind of do this sort of thing right here. So let's do that, because that's another thing that it'll help us, because there's going to be other places we need to do this. So we'll say public function display shipping, and here we're going to return if this shipping is equal to 0, then we're going to return free shipping. Else, let's return shipping, and then concatenate on this shipping. Okay, does that make sense? So now we have this display shipping method that we can use. So back here in our product, let's go ahead now and echo out this product display shipping. Okay, so Catan had free shipping. This was $9.99. Let's see. Yeah, so we'll add some styling in a little while to kind of clean that up a little bit. So they had this information here. So the only other thing I think over here that we kind of need is the add to cart button. And so let's go ahead and add that now. I'm going to add that to another div. And inside of here, probably for now, we're going to actually use a button. No, you don't. We'll use a link. And this link, we're going to echo out our project root. And then maybe we'll do something like products add to cart, and we'll pass in also the product ID. So that was this product ID. Okay. And then we just put in add to shopping cart. And maybe we'll throw in an icon here. And we'll just use our Font Awesome, I believe that. So let's take a look at that real quick. Font Awesome. Icons. I like this Cart Plus one. That's pretty cool. Let's use that one. So it's FastFA Cart Plus. Okay. Take a look at that. Cool. The next thing I want to do is make that a button. So let's see. So here, oops, bad. We'll give this a class of button, button info maybe. See what that looks like. Probably should use like primary or something. I don't know, that looks kind of nice. Yeah, I kind of like that. So let's take care of a few styling things for the stuff on this side, and then we'll add our product images. So let's see. Let me open up our CSS. So let's say product details body, and that was a div. And what I want to do here is I actually want to give this a margin top and bottom, let's do 12 pixels. Alright, let's do 18 pixels. And then maybe we'll give it a little bit of padding as well. And so what I want to do here probably, we'll do 12 pixels, and then let's give it a border. I don't know why, but let's give it a border. 1 pixel solid, and let's just say something like E or something. And then, so that was product details body. So that will be right here. Class equals product details body. Let's give that a margin on the top and bottom of 18 pixels. And then let's do box shadow. So slight. Let's see what that looks like. I don't know. We may leave it, we may not. I don't know. But at any rate, you guys can do whatever you want with the styling of this. I just kind of wanted to give that body something that kind of stood out. Now we need to make the price and this stuff. Let's see what they did on Amazon. They had free shipping was bold. I'm kind of curious what they do when it's not free shipping though. I don't think that would be something that they'd want to stand out, but we'll make the price red like that. That's kind of cool. So we'll say product details price, and let's give that a color crimson. And then we need to go ahead probably just need to go ahead and give this a span. So this class is going to be equal to product details price. We'll give this product details label, and let's go ahead and Alright, so getting a little closer, they had this little ampersand in between shipping, so kind of the way we did that with the products, kind of bad. So we're gonna get rid of that so we can keep it consistent. So back here in the details now, let's add they had an ampersand here, and then a span, actually, I have to do a little bit of logic here. So what we'll say is we'll do PHP if this product shipping equal to 0. I'll say not equal to 0. Then we want to add that span. Okay. And this will be also the same class. Okay. I don't really want to emphasize shipping that much because my stuff's not going to have that much free shipping. Let me take a look at another product. This one had shipping $9.99. Okay. All right, so I think that's good. Go ahead and grab, because I want these things to look nicer when I go to look at it. Okay. All right, so we probably want, like, I don't know, what do they do on Amazon? I guess they have a back to results link here. We should probably do that as well. Although we don't quite know exactly what they were at before, but we could take them back to the home page. All right, so let's go ahead and do that and do our product slideshow over here on the left. All right, so let's see. We need a function to, or a method rather, to get all of our product images. So back in the products page, let's go ahead and create a method, and we'll just call it get images. And let's see, we'll need to go ahead and add that up here. Okay. So down here now we can say return product images. We'll use our find method, and that takes an array, and the conditions on that are going to be super easy as well. So conditions, we'll say we want the ID find in set Um, Oh, wait a minute. I need to look at the database. So the product images, we have the product ID. So that's what we need to look for. So we'll say product ID is equal to, and we'll bind that. Can't type tonight. So here, we'll just say this ID. We're going to bind this ID so that we're finding all the products with this, the ID of this product that we're on. And then we're going to order this, and we'll order this thing by, I think we called it sort. Yep, sort. Okay, so that should actually be good to go there. So then we're going to pass into the view. We'll say this view images is equal to product get images. Okay. And then what we can do just to test that that's working is inside of our view. Let's see. Well, here. Let's do it this way. I don't want to do it here. Let's just h dump and die, and then product get images. Okay, so this one had 2 images. Let's see. Product 1 had 3 images. And so this is working. Product 2, yep, 3 images. All right, so that's good to go. Now we could just use the URL to go ahead and grab those images. So what I'm going to do is, the Bootstrap has a carousel thing, so we'll just go ahead and use that instead of another library. You guys feel free to use another library if you want. I'm just going to copy this sample code just to make it easy on us. And jump back into our details, and I'm going to paste that here. And highlight this, and let's go to edit, auto indent. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to build out the indicators to have the correct amount here, and then we need to loop through and put these here. Okay, so it's not going to be difficult to do at all, but let's see. Let's do our indicators first. So inside of here, let's just do PHP for loop, and we're going to say for I 0 and I, as long as I is less than this images, we'll do size of, okay, and then we need to increment I, and then I'm just going to copy this. Okay, and carousel example. I'm just gonna get rid of the example there. We don't need that. So just carousel indicators. All right. And then we replace the data slide to with I. So now we should have 3 indicators on here. I still have the, we go back to the controller and get rid of our dump and die. Oops. Hey, you're very welcome, and hello. So we'll refresh now. Looks like we got 3 little indicators there. We don't have any sort of image showing yet, so let's go ahead and do that. Looks like we have some other issues, but we'll solve those as we go. So we've looped through and we've given let me just take a look at, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and inside this inner right here, we need to loop through all of these. Now, I'm not really sure what to do about active yet. So what we'll probably do is when this starts off, we'll just add a class here, and we'll say active, and we'll say if I is equal, if I is equal to 0, then we want active. Else, we're just going to return a blank string. So now what we can do is get rid of this active here, and we can actually just echo out active. Okay, and we're going to do pretty similar thing down here in this carousel inner. We have all these carousel items, so let's go ahead and do a PHP, and then on this one, actually, you know what, we can just copy this. We're going to run through these again. Dang it. I did it again. So we'll copy that, and then we'll just go past one of these here. We'll say end 4. And then I can get rid of these other 2 carousel items. Okay, and then here, I think what we'll do is, yeah, we'll just replace, we'll add a space there, and then we're going to echo out active. All right. Next, we just need to go ahead and put our source here. So this is pretty straightforward here. We'll just say this images, and then we're going to pass I into there, and then URL. That's not the whole thing though. We need to go ahead and also echo out our project root. Concatenate that on, and let's see, how did we store those URLs here? Okay, so we don't need our project root actually. Yes, we do. Dang it, caps lock work. All right. Okay, it's big. Our indicators aren't quite working. So let's try to get some styling to bring this down. Well, let me just close this real quick. Yeah, those are way too big. So, hello, Josephine from Kenya. Nice to see you here. Alright, so we got the slideshow basically working. Let's see. Gotta just fix a few things that I've broken. Carousel indicators. Let's take a look at, I want to take a look at our HTML and see what we have here. We have the slide. They look like they're working. I bet it's because the colors of the indicators. Let's take a look at those. Oh, I see. So those are, let's see if we can figure out what color they are. They're white. So we need to like do our carousel indicators a different color there, and that's all. So what we can do, just to see them for now, let's go ahead and do an inline style here. We can actually do it here, I think. My caps lock is just not wanting to turn off and on when I click it. I'm probably not clicking it hard enough. So let's just say color, and then let's just do 101 820 or something. Guess I'll go ahead and throw that in the list item. You know what? Those are probably, since they're empty, those are probably borders. I need to look at that a little closer here. No, they're not. Stop moving around. Background color white. I see. So let's see what they're doing on active. Looks like they have a different color slightly. Okay. So we just need to change, instead of color here, this just needs to be background color. They must be using like something to change the opacity of that too. Yeah, they are. Okay. So we click on them. It looks like it works. We're missing our arrows are also just kind of hard to see. But first, hello, welcome to the live stream. We're just working on our slideshow now for our details page. So they're huge for now. Let's go ahead and shrink those down and see if that helps. So what I want to do is, we'll say carousel item, and inside of our image here, you know what, for our alt tag, let's go ahead and populate that while I'm looking at it. So we'll say this product. We could have done a caption or something with our images, but we didn't, so it's whatever. So we'll just say this product name. Okay, just to give it something. Okay. They have width 100 here on the class. So I'm gonna try something, and let's just do width 80. And let's just see what happens like that. Not change it. Actually, it made it worse. So let me go back here, and now they have some. They had some 1 second. Image fluid. I know I'm doing a lot of inline styles, but I'm just trying to just get it how I want it first. So let's see, width, let's do 75%, something like that. You know what I want? Actually, I think what I want to do is a max height. And we'll do a max height of, let's try 500 pixels. I'm trying to do, there we go. That's a lot more reasonable size for our page. Yeah. So now I just kind of need to center that. So, let's try, I don't know if this will work or not, but we'll try text center. Nope. Oh, I clicked on the, I could stop the slideshow for a minute. All right. So we'll just add here margin zero auto, and thank you, Josephine. Hussar said Shanta's Boutique was OSM series. I'm not sure what OSM means. I'm too old for that. Yeah, I did make those for my sister. Oh, thank you. That is awesome that you got a job for my series, man. That is a blessing. That is awesome. That makes me feel good. Um, and then let's see. Could crop and tag the images so they have the same size. Let me take a look. I mean, they should be the same size now because I'm doing a max height of these. I guess if they were less than the max height, they probably wouldn't. But they're being centered and everything. I think I'm pretty happy with that for now. I don't want to spend too much time on styling. We're about 20 minutes past where I wanted to be at this point. I was hoping to get started on the shopping cart, or actually adding these to a shopping cart. But I do want to add the back to results thing, and I want to style those, the little things right here so we can see them. And so those are those icons. Let's take a look. Oh man, they used a freaking image on those. Well, we'll take care of that. They used an image, man. That's unbelievable. What we could do is we could change the background color, but I just don't like that. I kind of want my background to be white like that. So I think what I want to do is see how they previous icon. So they're doing it by class. So I'm just going to empty that out. So I'm gonna copy this real quick right here. And then I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give this a specific class. So we'll say product details slideshow. In our custom CSS, we'll do product details slideshow, and then inside of that we're looking for the class of previous icon, and also just copy all of this. Say background, and what we're going to do here is unset. And this is not previous, this one is going to be next. So it's previous and next. All right, let's see if that works. Well, also, what I want to do is add something that's not background images. So let's see, in the details, let's just inside the span here, let's add class equal and let's grab that from Font Awesome. So we're going to say chevron left. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to copy that and we'll add it here for the next, and that will be chevron right. And then we just need to go ahead and give these a color as well. Let's do I'm going to do the 101 820, and then we'll do a text shadow, and we're just going to do 0, 0, 3. Let's see what that looks like. No. Product details slideshow. Make sure I get all this right here. It's likely that that thing is still like, oh, there they are. All right. So I got some errors in my HTML, obviously. Whoa. Somehow I don't know how that happened. That's crazy. You guys probably saw it happen. And you're laughing at me all along. Like, this guy is a moron. And you would be right. There's honestly I don't know how my editor did that, oh well. Let's see what happens now. Yeah, that's nice. Let's do one more little thing to that though. Okay. All right then, and then we needed the like they had a back to results type link, so we can do that really quick in our details here. We'll do it right here. We're just gonna say okay, let's grab a icon here. some sort of left arrow. Just arrow left, I guess. That's good. Oh, that's how it happened. I copied from Font Awesome, and it doesn't copy what's in the middle there. It copies the entire thing. Ah, I see. All right. Don't really like the way that looks, but no big deal. Let's just give this a class. We'll just say back to results. All right, whatever. Good enough. Let's see what happens. All right, looking at Catan. Okay. Splendor. All right. I am fairly happy with that. I know it's not perfect, and I know there's room for improvement, but again, we're not. This series isn't primarily a design course, or we're not trying to make perfect looking everything. So I think this is adequate for what we're doing. So now, what we'll want to do, I think it'd be really cool to figure out a way to, if you have something in your shopping cart, it's going to show up here in the menu, probably with an indicator that tells you like how many items are in your shopping cart, that sort of thing. But first, what we need to do is get started on a shopping cart in general. So we're going to need some new database tables, and we need at least 2 database tables. We need the cart table. So we'll have a shopping cart table and a model for that, and then we'll have the cart items table. So there'll be related tables. So you'll have a shopping cart, and then you'll have each individual items along with their quantities stored in the items table. So let's go ahead and create some database migrations and add those tables to our database. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over here to terminal, and I am going to run PHP, and then I'm going to gen a migration, and that will add a new that'll add a new file in my migrations. And so here, I think what we'll do, we'll build our table carts. So carts will just be shopping cart. Okay. So we'll want timestamps on that. So add timestamps. We're going to want it to soft delete this, so we won't forget to add the soft delete column. So what we'll need, the cart itself won't need too many columns because, let me think about it for a second. I mean, we'll end up adding more columns and stuff, but I think one of the only ones we're going to need is this. Let's see, add column, and we're going to add table, and then we'll give it a column name of, I don't know what we want to call this one, like purchase complete. We want a way to know that this, if a cart has been completely paid for, we want to go ahead and indicate that in some way. So I'm just going to put purchased, I think. Purchased. And this will actually be a Boolean. Okay. That'll have a default value of 0 when we create the cart. And then what we'll do is we're going to do add soft delete, and then I'm going to add an additional index. So add index, and that will be for purchased. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. Let's create another table, and we're going to call this one cart items. And we'll add timestamps to this as well. And then this one is going to need a column called cart ID, and that will be a type of int. Okay. The other thing is we probably also want another integer, and this will be quantity. So how many items are in the shopping cart. And then let's see. We'll soft delete this as well. Not sure we need much other than that. Oh, yeah, one of the most important ones that we're going to need here is a product ID as well. So let's add that. So we have cart ID, quantity, and product ID. That's how we're going to relate it to a product. So we can get the information of the product there. And then that should be pretty good. So let's go ahead and add our soft delete column. And then we'll add a few indexes. For cart ID, product ID, and quantity. I don't really need one for quantity probably. I can't imagine we're going to search by that. So I'm not going to add that actually. I'm going to get rid of it. We don't need one for quantity. Okay, so now we need to run this migration, and since I'm on XAMPP, there's one thing that I'll need to do because I can't SSH into my box. And so in order for this to work, I need to go to core. I'm sorry, not core. I need to go down to the run migration script here, and I just need to comment out line number 2. So if you're on XAMPP or you can't SSH in, you'll temporarily do this. So I'm just going to do / run migrations.php. Dang it, what did I do wrong here? Live.carts doesn't exist. I know I'm trying to create it. Oh, you know what I okay, yeah. So let's see. I forgot to run this create table on both of these instances. There we go. So now that should run. Messed something up. Let's refresh here. So it added carts. Let's look at the structure. ID created at, updated at, and then it did not create. So I'm going to delete this table. I messed up my migration somehow. So sorry about that. Delete table. Also, we need to look at this migration. So it's 0082. Uh, 0082. Okay, it didn't put that in there. So let's look at the migration and see what I might have done wrong here. Oh, did I not add a Boolean type? Alright. I did not add a Boolean type, so we'll just use tinyInt. That's what the problem was. I tried to create... So we'll just say tinyInt. And... see if I messed anything else up before we get too far here. Card ID, product ID, this all looks fine. Okay. Well, let's see if that runs now. Okay, it looks like that all ran. That looks a lot nicer, by the way, just in case you're wondering, inside the, if you SSH into your deal, this output looks a lot nicer, but I don't ever intend to actually run it through the browser like that, so that's why this line 2 exists. It actually kicks you out. If you try to run that from this, it says restricted. Alright, so let's jump back over here, and now we should have, if everything went right, we'll have 2 new tables. So we have carts, yep, and cart items. So that all looks good. Alright, so we have those 2 tables. We need to create models for both of those tables now, which it's not going to be difficult. I'm going to close some of these files down just to clean up so you guys don't have to look at all these tabs. It's easier to... So I'm going to go back to app and models, and I think what I'll do is, let me look at the brands. I'm going to try to find a kind of a small model here. User sessions is pretty small, so I think what I'm going to do is duplicate that one. And this is going to be carts. So carts, and then we got to put basically all the we need to tell it the table name, which is carts, and then we got to give it a property for each one of our deals. So we'll start out, it's created at, updated at, let's see, we had cart ID, product ID. Oh, wait a minute, this one's looking at the wrong one. Oh, purchased. So purchased, we're going to go ahead and give a default value of 0. And then also deleted will have a default value of 0 as well. So that's all of our properties for this one. It does have the timestamps. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this method here. We don't need this here. Okay. The other thing that we want to do is we want to tell it to use soft delete. So protected static soft delete equals true. Let me jump into the model and make sure I have that correct. Yeah, it's protected static. Yep, that's correct. So that will create a soft delete setup for us. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this one now. And this is going to be cart items. Okay. And so now we'll just go ahead and update our columns for that one. So get rid of this and we'll just do cart ID, product ID, and quantity. Okay. So yeah. So we're not going to need to do too much right now for that. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Let's take a look at Amazon's shopping cart real quick. Kind of get an idea. They have it in their menu too. All right, so their shopping cart just does a list basically here. Their quantity, what they do for 10 plus, oh, you just type it in. So they have a select for their or drop down. So we can probably do the same thing. And then they have their current. Okay. So this isn't going to be too terrible. The join on this is going to be the hardest part to get everything that we need. Because our cart item is going to need like our image URL, the name, the price. So we're going to need all of our product information for our cart items. Okay. So let's do it this way. Let's just get it set up to where we can click the add to cart button and it actually adds it to our shopping cart, okay? And then we're going to work on displaying that. So we'll need, in the controllers, we're going to need, let's see, maybe I'll duplicate the home controller again. So we'll say just duplicate home, and I'm going to call this cart. So cart controller. We will have an index action, but I'm not going to build that out right now. I'm just going to go ahead and leave this on there because we're going to need that in a little bit. The thing that we want to do right now, let's see, what was our link? So we did products add to cart. I probably want to do this in a cart controller, not the other way around. So we'll update that. Let's go back to views, products, details, and that button, the add to sharpen cart button. We'll just change this to cart, and we'll have the add to cart action on that one instead. So what we'll need to do also is we need to add to our ACLs. I'm just going to copy this line because we're going to have several actions on our cart. So we'll add that in there. So we won't have a restricted. In our views, I'm going to create a new folder. We'll call that cart. And then we'll create a new file. We're going to need an index.php. Not going to do anything with that just yet though. And then right now, we actually don't need any other views because this is just going to be an action and then it's going to forward them. Probably forward them. We might actually, you know what, we'll probably forward them to the shopping cart itself, or ask them, we could even ask them, do you want to go back to continue shopping or go to cart? So that's what we'll do. We'll actually add inside of cart, let's add a new file. We'll call it add to cart.php. So we'll say this start body this end. Okay. Now here we're just going to have a couple links or whatever. So I'm just going to type something here. This will just be links to continue shopping or go to cart. Okay, I'm just gonna put that there as a reminder. So now in the cart controller, we need a public function, and then we'll say add to cart, and then this is actually going to take a product ID right here. Okay. Now this product ID, we're gonna have to do a lot of magic in this thing. So the first thing that we'll do is we'll say this view render cart add to cart. Let's just make sure this works real quick. I'm gonna add this one to the shopping cart. Method add to cart. It's because I forgot the word action here. We actually have to have action. That's my bad. Okay, so here we have just the text that I put here. Basically what's gonna happen is we're gonna give them some sort of confirmation that it's been added to the cart, but they'll have a choice like a button to continue shopping and it'll take them back to the home page or to go to the shopping cart from here. But what we're gonna do is some magic in that action where we're going to actually generate the shopping cart itself. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. The first thing that we want to do though is we want to see if they have the cookie. Okay, so let's start talking about cookies a little bit. We'll want to, let's see, let's open up core. Let's look at the cookie class here. So the cookie class, we want to know we have an exist function. So we're going to need to do that and then we'll set it. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is open up config and create a new cookie session name. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm going to copy, well, we'll just say define, and this will be cart cookie name, and we'll get a random string for that in a second. And then we need to decide how long we want this cart to actually live for. So I'm going to say cart cookie expiry. Okay, so let's go ahead and do random string generator. Um, 20. No. 20. I'm gonna find one of these that looks good. Okay, and then I'm gonna copy that here. Can't have any weird characters. Just that's the reason I like using that site to generate a random one. But it's just basically alphanumeric values for the cookies. The safest thing to do. And then let's figure out how many seconds are in, like, I don't know how long we should live. Let's let this live for 2 weeks. Okay. Okay, so we'll do seconds in 14 days. Just gonna do the math real quick here in the console. So it's 60 seconds times, whoa, my number lock things not on. So 60 seconds times 60 minutes times 60 times 24 times 7. I think I did that right. I'm gonna copy that. Paste it. And 1, 2. I might have one too many 60s here. That looks right. All right. There we go. So that should make it live for 2 weeks, which you guys could do that. Denise says, instead of putting a home button, can't we add a menu link? Not really sure what you mean there. Oh, well, we could, yeah. But essentially, they're like we want them to land home. But later, what we're going to do is we're going to add separate links and a way for them to actually um, like filter, and that'll go to a separate page too. So right now, we're just loading. Just like if you go to Amazon, they have. If you go to their homepage, um, they have like products on the like featured products on the homepage. That was kind of the idea behind what we did with putting our featured products on the homepage. But JJ says I got my math wrong again. So let's see. He says it's possible, man. I'm so fried. 1,209,600 seconds. That's probably right because this was supposed to be a month, so that looks right. All right, thanks, JJ. Good looking out for me, man. I appreciate it. Let's see. You guys won't believe how hard it is to think while you're doing this. To like talk and type and think and figure everything out. I don't know, I always make excuses. That's just my fault. You know, I heard this joke the other day. I think this is pretty funny. I'll tell it to you guys. Basically, look, there's three types of people in the world as it relates to math. There are people who can count and people who can't. All right. So let's see. Where were we at? I'm totally lost now. Okay, back here. We're adding the shopping cart. Okay, good. All right. So now that we've done that, we have a cart cookie name and a cart cookie expiry. We need to check to see if they have a cart already in the database. If they do, we want to load that. If not, we're going to create a new cart so that we can start adding this item to it. So let's go back now to the cart controller, and we want to let's just look up current cart. You know what? We'll just call it cart for now. So we'll say cart ID, and we're going to say cookie exists, and then we're going to pass in the the cart. What in the world did we call that thing? I already forgot. Cart cookie name. Cart, there it is, cookie name. So basically we want to check and we want to say if cart ID then cart is going to equal and I need to add, let's see, so we'll add cookie. I'm going to add H here as well. And get rid of this. This only works if you're using PHP 7, by the way. If you're not using PHP 7, you can't use these use groups. You got to put each one on its own line. But anyways, so we're loading in cookie, and then what we want to do is we want to load in the carts, but so we can add that here to models. So we're going to have products, and we'll have carts and cart items loaded in. Okay, so then we want to say carts find by ID, and then what we'll do is we're going to cast that to an integer, but what we're trying to get here is the cookie get, I believe there's a method called get. Yep. And then we're going to pass in the cart cookie name. Okay, so this will get the first cart that has that ID. Else, what we'll want to do is just say new carts. Perhaps. Maybe what we should do is generate a method on our carts model to do this. I think that's a good idea because we need a little bit more logic than this, and I don't want this action's already going to get kind of big. So let's add a new method to get this stuff. Okay, so a good name for that is something like get current cart or new or something. I don't know. That's a hard thing to name. So in our carts here, we're going to use a static function for this, or method. So public static function and find current cart or create new, something like that. Okay. So here, let's see. Go ahead and do this just to clean this up a little bit. Session, because I am running PHP 7, I can do this. Okay. All right. So first thing we want to do is we want it to if not cookie exists, so if that doesn't exist, then we need a new cart. So cart is going to equal new cart, and then we can just say cart save. Okay. Else, what we want to do is if it exists, then we want to grab it and use it. Okay. So if it exists, then we're going to say cart ID is equal to cookie get cart cookie name, and then we'll say cart is equal to self find first, and then we're going to cast that to an integer, cart ID. Okay. The next thing that we want to do is just we're going to come out here and we're going to return cart. Okay. Any questions? Any questions on this so far? Just kind of want to slow down for a second because I know I just kind of jumped all over the place. I just want to make sure you guys are tracking and everything's good and that you understand where we're at. I get a drink of water while I wait for that to. All right. If you guys have questions, go ahead and answer them. I'm going to keep going, and if they start popping in, we'll stop. All right, because there's a delay between when you guys see this and when I'm actually saying it, so I don't want to sit here for too long. So back in the cart controller now, we can use that function, and we're just going to replace all of that now with cart is equal to carts, and then we called that find current or create new. Okay. Now, here's the thing. If, regardless, what we want to do is we want to set this cart into their cookie. Okay, we want to add a cookie onto their computer so that the next time they visit, as long as it's not expired, we can use it. Okay. So the only thing I need to decide, which probably makes sense to go ahead and do it here. So right here, find current or create new. This will also refresh the cookie anyway. So what we'll do is we're going to say cookie set, and then let's see, the set takes a name, a value, and expiry. So the name on this is just the cart cookie name. The value is going to be the cart ID, and then the expiry is the cart cookie expiry. Okay, so that will create a cookie on the thing on the computer. So let's make sure that that works. So let me go now and look at our application. We'll look at the session storage here. Oh, cookies, they separated out. All right, so you can see my session ID. Now what we want to do is we're going to refresh and see if it generates a cookie here. Cart not found. And let's see, that was in line 17. And that's because I forgot the S here. Okay, sorry about that. So let's see what happens. Okay, so now we can see that I actually do have a new cookie with the cookie name that we set inside of the config file, and the value is 1. So that value is the cart ID. So now if I go and look in the carts, we do have a new cart set up, and it's got the timestamps, the cart ID, and this. Okay, the next time that we visit this, we can also see that, let's see the expire date here. So look at this expire date, 1246.50 or 505. So 1246.505. If I refresh the page again, that should update, and it does not. Okay. So we got a problem. Oh, I used the wrong method here. So instead of find first, this should have been find by ID. Okay. But you can see that it did update that, by the way. So we got 726 1402 7 or 21402. Yeah, so each time I update this, my value stays the same, but you can see that it's resetting the expired time. So every time we refresh, it updates, and we got 14 days from that. So basically what it's doing is adding this item to the cart. So now that we have the item in the cart, what we need to do is add, well, we don't have an item in the cart, we just have a cart built. Okay, so we have a row in our cart database table. So I hope that makes sense. So now what we need to do is we actually need to take that product that we're trying to add, and we need to add that product to the database. Okay, so let's take a look now at our database and see what we need. So in cart items, we just need the cart ID, the product ID, and the quantity. Okay, so there's a couple ways to go about the quantity, but what we'll probably do is just auto increment that. Not auto increment, but we'll just increment it. so that we can use the same action to continue to add the same the same item to the cart. So this is going to be kind of a deal where we need to check if it's already been added to the cart, and if it has, then use it and update the quantity. If not, add a new one. Okay, so let's see. In this situation, we have the find current or create. I think we also need to just go ahead and create inside cart items. Let's create a new method. This could be static, and this is going to be find by cart ID and product ID. That's too long. So find by, we're just gonna say product ID because we're gonna pass it a cart ID. So find by product ID or create. Okay. So it's gonna expect us to find one or create it. So it's gonna take two parameters. The first parameter is we need a cart ID, and the next parameter is product ID. All right. So now what we want to do is, let's see, I want to add, let me clean some of this up real quick up here because we need to use model session cookie. Whoa. Okay, and then we'll use app models cart. We'll probably need products at some point, but right now we don't, so I'm going to leave it off. Okay, so carts. So now what we want to do is we're going to I guess we didn't need that anyway, but basically we're going to say item is equal to self find first and then we'll say yeah, so item sorry, I just spaced out for a second. Conditions, we want cart ID, and we're going to bind that value, and product ID, and we'll bind that value as well. And then we'll just pass in cart ID, product ID, and then we're going to say if not item, then we want to say item is equal to new self, and we will say item cart ID is equal to cart ID item product ID for the product ID, and then I'm actually going to set a default for quantity here, and we'll set that equal to 0, and then we'll do item save. Okay, and then we're just going to return that item. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. We're finding the item if it exists. If it doesn't exist, then we're creating a whole new item and populating it. So let's make sure I'm not missing anything that we need there. I'm not. The thing is the reason I didn't mess with quantity here is because I think that should be a separate method that we use. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a new public static. Yeah, I can live here. So we'll create a public static function, and we'll say add product to cart. Okay, so here's what we're going to need products, because we want to make sure the product exists before we add it. Okay, so first thing we check is we need to get crap. I don't really want to save this if there's no product. So let's remove that line. And then here we'll do, this is also going to take a cart ID and a product ID. And we're going to say product is equal to products find by ID. Okay. Then what I want to do is we're going to say if product, then we're going to do, actually, you know what? I don't mind doing this here. We'll add that back, the save function. But here we're going to say the cart is equal to self find by product ID or create. We'll pass down the cart ID and a product ID here. Okay. Then what we're going to do, I'm sorry, that's not a cart, that is actually the item. And then we're going to actually return this item. JJ said I forgot a question mark, and he is correct. Good. That guy's on top of it. JJ's the man. I don't even know why he watches these videos. He should be teaching them. He can teach me this stuff. All right. So we have the add product to cart, which calls this find by product ID or create. So let's go back now to the carts here, and let's see. Cart controller. So now we have the cart, and let's see, the item. The item is going to equal that was cart items, add product to cart, and we will pass in the cart ID and the product ID. Okay, so now let's see what happens. If I refresh this page, we should now have an item, and we do. The quantity is not correct, but we do have an item, and it has the correct cart ID. I think I keep doing that. So we have a cart. One cart and one item in the cart. Okay, so you can see that this cart ID will link it to there, and the products will actually, so let's add another product real quick. Let's add product 2. So now there should be there are two items in cart 1. Cart ID 1 has two products, product ID 1 and product ID 2. Okay? So now we have two items in that shopping cart, but we need to go ahead and fix the quantity. So that's not going to be difficult at all. What we want to do here is we're going to say item quantity is equal to item quantity plus 1, and then we'll just do item save. So now if you add the same product again, this should be 1 now. Okay, if I do it again, we have 2. Okay, so now let's go back and just make sure we get our quantity correct for product 1. Alright, so we're looking good. We have the correct things that we want. It's going to get a little bit dicey now with needing to build a query up to grab all of our items that are in our shopping cart. And each item is going to have a product and a product image associated with it. And we don't know how many rows are going to be in their cart. So it's not a good idea to use our methods that we built to make another database call. We actually probably want to do a raw query at this point and go ahead and just build out an object just to give us all the information. So I think that's what we'll do. See, we have about 33 minutes. Just trying to decide what we can do to where I don't kind of take us off the deep end and either not be able to finish it or go real late, because I know you guys have been up for a long time. You guys tell me, you guys want to go ahead and call it a little early tonight and end here? This would be a pretty good stopping point. Or we could try to press forward and start building out the shopping cart tonight. I don't think we're going to get very far with it if we do. And it might leave us at an awkward position. Oh, one thing I do want to do is go ahead and merge in the changes that I made to the framework. I fixed some bugs in the framework, so I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick while you guys are telling me if you want to continue on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So git fetch upstream. Git merge upstream. Got some merge conflicts. Always in the... Okay, I expected these actually. Okay. And then this one, oops, let me save that. This one, the two conflicts in here are going to be over the select stuff. I think I just named it different. Okay. Okay. So stage that. File contains merge markers. Did I miss one? Oh, I didn't save it. Okay. All right. Make sure we don't have anything weird. Yep, looking good. I just wanted to double check my merge there, make sure I didn't break that. Yeah, so I just fixed a few bugs. I don't even remember all the bugs I fixed. You guys could look at the resolved things, but I fixed 3 or 4 bugs in the framework since our last week. Sounds like Denise wants to continue on. No one else said anything about it. So we got 30 minutes. Oh, okay. Well, let's see if we could build our query in our shopping cart, okay? So that's probably where we'll get to tonight. It's just building that query out. All right, so I want to do this probably just, let's see here. We'll do it here. All right, so what we want to do is we want to build out, I'm just going to write it here until we get it correct, okay? So we're going to select, select star from cart items as items. And then we're going to join products, and we'll just do as p on p dot id is equal to items dot product id. Okay, and then we want to join product images as pi on p dot id is equal to pi dot product id. So here we'll do items dot star, and then for the product we'll do p dot star, and then for the image we just need pi dot URL, and we'll do that as no, we'll just do it, that's fine, pi dot URL. So we're gonna need a little bit more stuff than that, but let's do a where clause here. So where items dot cart ID is equal to, for now I'm just going to hard code that, and then we'll make that dynamic when we get there. All right, so let me copy this in case something happens to it. Okay, so now we have everything we need we're gonna have to narrow this down some more. So we have our URL. We have everything we want about our product. Created and updated at are going to be ambiguous. So maybe we want to be a little more. Oh man, we need brand too, probably. What did Amazon do? Let me see. Did they have brand? So they didn't put the brand here, so we could skip brand. That takes a little bit of the complexity of the join out, which is not much complexity at all. So they have one product. Okay. So you can notice because of our join, we have a row for each one of our images here. So we're going to need to actually take care of that. But I want to clean up like what we're actually getting because we don't need all of this yet. So I'm glad I pasted that. So let's see. So we just need the product name. We need the price, shipping, okay. Copy that. And I know this is a little boring, but this takes a little bit of work. pi.url. Do I have? Let me double check that real quick. Name. Oh, I forgot I'm missing my comma there. All right. Whoa. Okay. Getting a little smaller. So now our created and updated it's coming from item. We have our card ID, product ID. We have our product name. Yeah, I don't know that we need much more than this information here. So that will be all we need to do, but now we need to go ahead and just get one row, and we're going to want to get the row by sort ID, okay? So we've already done this before. Let me see here. Let me just paste this so we don't lose it. And we've done this before in the last video. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that because we don't need to, dang it, we don't need to reinvent the wheel here. That'll save us some time too. I just need to find where I did that. Home controller. So it's featured products. So if I look in the, try to close some of this stuff here. Okay, so I need to look in the products. What the heck? Oh, here it is. And featured products. So we had a group by. I'm sure we need a group by. We can just do pi.source. what that's doing is just getting us the first image. So pi.sort equals 0. So I'm going to copy that. We'll try it out. We should have 2 rows now. Yep, we have 2 rows. We got the URL of the main product image. Okay. The only other thing I would say is, I guess we are requiring products to have images, but we may want to do a left join instead of an inner join, just so that if there's not a product ID or a product image, it'll still show up and work. We would just need to, I don't know, I'm going to leave it like this for now, but we may run into a bug later with this that we'll have to fix. Okay, so I'm going to copy this query that we just created, and now we're going to use that raw query, and we're going to build out our cart. Okay, so what we'll want to do is go to carts. This is our model. We're going to create a method here, and this is just going to be a public static function, and what we'll do is we'll say I'm gonna do this a little different than we did last time. Let's see, find all items in cart, or something like that. Find all items by cart ID. Okay, we'll pass in a cart ID. Alright, and then our SQL, okay, there's our SQL. Let's see. And kind of alright, so we have our SQL statement. We'll need to go ahead and put our bind in here. So right here, that will be a question mark there. So then what we can do is we can say db is equal to db get instance. The reason we're doing this is because we're going to run this manually. So, and we're running it inside of a static function. So we're getting the instance for the DB, and then we're going to say items is equal to DB query. And let's just double check that. I think the first thing we pass in is the table. No, it's the... Oh, wait, I'm dumb. I was thinking of the model query method. It's a little bit different. So we actually just pass in SQL, and then we're going to pass in an array that we bind. So in this instance, we're just going to pass in our cart ID right there. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else I missed there. Nope. We could actually just return that like that. The other thing that I did query params. We could set the fetch style. This will work fine. So let's go ahead and now inside of our cart controller, back in our index, remember our index is actually going to print out our cart now. So we're not adding to the cart, we're just going to print out what's in our cart. So let's say items is equal to carts find all items by cart ID, and then now the cart ID, this is going to assume that they have a shopping cart, so we need to get that information. So remember, the way that we're going to get that is just cart ID is going to equal cookie get cart cookie name, and then we're going to pass that into, my caps lock is still on, okay. So then what I want to do is let's just dump and die those items. So what I want to do now is go to cart DB not found. Okay, so we need to add that. And here we go. We have, oh, we need to do one more thing here. This actually needs to return results, the results set. So we're going to chain on results there. Now we have an array with 2 items, and our objects are built out just like we did in our query. So we have ID, we have all the information I think that we need. We have the quantity, the name, price, shipping, and we have the URL to the product to the product image. Okay, that way we can kind of build out like they did in their shopping cart, have the little image, the name, and then we can have the price. They just have kind of this ugly table. I don't know what we'll do here. Probably something similar, but not. And then they give the ability to update the quantity, which we will do in some fashion. I don't know if we'll do it like this or not, but we will do that. But so I know it doesn't look like we just did a lot, but actually we kind of made a lot of progress, because we have, now we're leaving off with, we can actually, when you go to the shopping cart, it grabs all the items that are in your shopping cart. Okay, so if I were to delete one of these, so let me go to my cart items, and let's delete this out of here. This is going to be wrong still, and that's because we need one more little where clause here. We need to say and items dot deleted is equal 0. There. Now we have one item in the shopping cart. If I go back to the database and update that, of course we'll be back to 2 items. I don't think it really matters what order these are in inside the shopping cart, so I'll just leave it by ID, so that'll kind of keep it in the order that they added it to the shopping cart. But I think this is a good place for us to kind of leave off, and then in the next video we will actually build out the front end, or the UI, to display these 2 products that we have. We have the hard work done. We're adding it to the cart. Now we just need to display it, and that'll be a good place for us to start in the next video. And then we will start building out our payment gateway, so that when after you've added this, you can go ahead and click purchase, enter your credit card details, and we'll start on all that. So that'll probably to be frank, that'll probably take 2 or 3 sessions to do the actual purchasing. And then at that point, a lot of us will be kind of done with knowing how to move forward with this. But I'll probably do several more sessions after that to just continue to add feature functionality and features that you guys have requested and things like that. I don't really want this series to, like, linger too long to where people start losing interest and it becomes just this monstrosity of a project, because there's other projects I want to work on. I want to do a series to teach React and Vue.js soon, and so I don't want this to take up the rest of the year is what I'm saying. I'd rather a month or 2 longer at the most, so 4 to 8 more sessions, and just kind of call this thing wrapped up. But I think you guys will have a great understanding of MVC, and also what it takes to kind of build out an e-commerce site in an MVC fashion, using a framework. Whether you use this framework or you kind of use Laravel or any other framework you want, it's going to be really similar. You just have to learn how the framework works. And of course, we're using the framework we built on our YouTube channel. One, because a lot of the same people that are in this project went through that, so I think it's cool to use it. Two, it's help. I want to I'm releasing the framework as an open source tool that anyone can use, just free and open. And this is helping us find bugs and just helping us refine the framework, just building it with that framework. So at any rate, guys, Denise says, yes, thank you so much for everything. Have a beautiful week, and God bless everything your hands touches, and beautiful family. Yes, on React. Yeah, we're going to do a React series, guys. I don't think I'll be able to do that one live. I don't think there's really a need to do that one live. What we'll do is do a series on React, and then we'll do a live project using React afterwards. But I want to at least give you the basics of React before we get going. But anyhow, guys, thank you very much. We'll stop a few minutes early here, and you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for being here. Please comment, like, subscribe, share this stuff with people. That helps me out tremendously. And I will see you guys, God willing, next week. So with that, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Let's see if I can figure out how to shut this thing off.